Hi all, welcome. I'm Pramod from Wisdom Quest Learning Resources, and today's podcast will focus on adaptive exams or adaptive tests. Okay, so these adaptive tests are becoming increasingly used in today's selection process, especially for the freshers, which are conducted by most of the MNC companies like CTS, Wipro, HCL, Mindtree, and all India employability tests like AMCAT. Okay, so now I feel it is very useful for the students to know how these adaptive tests work, and the students should adapt themselves to these examinations to score a better percentile and get a good job. Okay, so please listen this podcast till the end. So the concept of these adaptive tests is new to India but not to the world. Okay, so the internationally renowned exams like GMAT and GRE have been doing these type of adaptive tests for decades together, but in India it is fairly new that we have got these adaptive tests from the past decade. So from the past 10 years, these adaptive tests are increasingly used in India as a selection process to filter out the skilled candidates or so-called skilled professionals. Okay, so what exactly is adaptive tests? Is it measures an individual's cognitive abilities or skill levels on how flexibly they adapt or respond to situations. Okay, so these adaptive tests basically do that. Okay, so for example, if you can take a thermometer, it measures temperature. Okay, so if you are measuring a temperature at around 40 degrees centigrade, it shows 40 degrees centigrade. If you go to a very cool place and measure the temperature there, maybe probably it will show you 10 degrees centigrade. If you go to a more hotter places like Rajasthan or any other desert, it will show you like 50 degrees centigrade. So it is adapting to these places and then showing you the different temperature patterns of how it is going to adapt. Okay, in the similar way, now imagine a grandmaster, a chess grandmaster is playing a game with a computer. Okay, now the computer has to think 10 steps beyond what the grandmaster thinks, and the grandmaster should think 10 steps beyond what the computer thinks. Okay, now they should adapt to each other, okay, in order to win. So similarly, these adaptive tests, students should think on how they should adapt to the questions that are posed to them. Now these adaptive tests work on a very critical what I'll say, a formula that many students will be asking me, like, sir, whether there are any negative marks in these examinations, especially for these adaptive exams. So if you ask me officially, there are no negative marks, but if you ask me unofficially, there are negative marks. So how it works is, the adaptive test works on how you adapt to these questions, at the same time how your peers adapt to these questions, like your competitors adapt to these questions. And the negative marks are not based on the questions, but they are based on the level of difficulty of these questions. So let us take an instance of conducting an adaptive test. You will be first posed with an easier question. The difficulty level of the question is easy. So if you do it right, then you will be forwarded to medium difficult question. Then if you do it right, you will be forwarded to difficult question, and likewise. So the computer adapts itself to your cognitive abilities and gives the question based on that particular difficulty level. Okay, now when you do it right, it again adapts itself and try to give you more difficult question. Okay, so similarly, there will be many test takers in the room, or there will be many test takers across India taking the same exam. So what it does is, it will also rank you based on how your competitors adapt for the same difficulty level questions. So based on these two factors, at the end it will give you a relative percentile on how you have actually performed in various areas like verbal, quant, and reasoning, and based on that you will get some jobs in a very good MNC companies. Okay, so for example, let us say you have got a easy question and you have not performed well. At the same time, another person has got the same easy question and performed well. So what does it mean is that when compared to your competitor, you have got less marks, you have scored less. On the other hand, if you have got a difficult question and if your competitor has got an easy question, and if you both solve it correctly, your marks will be higher than your competitor because the difficulty level for your question is more. Okay, so based on these many parameters, you will be counted, you will be gauged, or you will be evaluated, and at the end you will be given the percentiles. Okay, so this is how adaptive test works. So your preparation for these examinations should be exactly in the way that these tests run. So I urge you to actually prepare your or train or prepare based on these adaptive nature of these tests to crack your dream job and land in a very good MNC company. Thanks for listening. So bye bye.